Hello everyone, welcome to the show. This is Her Moments and I'm your host today, Usher. Kulusum. Now, Her Moments is a show where we bring to different females or girls who help us or who are here to inspire, motivate, educate and teach fellow women or fellow girls out there something little that they could take home for their personal or their life building. Now, a couple of times, many of the girls have failed to get higher education, maybe stop in primary, secondary, and fail to go for the universities. But as of today, we are talking about financial independence or financial empowerment for a girl child. With me in the show today is Lara, who is going to take us through what she does or what she is putting in place to stop the girl child from unemployment, or at least give a girl child a step of a technical skill to any girl out there who could be able to use this skill for their personal life and be financially independent. Let's meet our guest.
In the past, women were considered housewives, housekeepers, and many other things denied any opportunity. Today we are great witnesses of the transition from the kitchen to the big offices and places of great responsibilities. Now Record TV has brought you a show, Her Moments, going to awaken, motivate and inspire all women out there every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. only on Record TV.
Hi, my name is Lara. I'm from the UK. But I'm currently living in Uganda. I've been staying here for the past 3 years, working on some projects. I initially came in 2009 when I was volunteering with some kids in a school, and I got to know the local community where I was staying in Namugongo. Ever since then, I had a real passion for Uganda. I got to know many of the local community, and I've been coming back to visit them. More recently, when I moved here in 2015, I had been working for the UK Department for International Development, and I'd been seeing from a very top level how aid is managed, etc. And I felt like there was more to do on the ground itself. So on moving here, a lot of people from back home, they took a lot of interest in the fact that I'd suddenly moved to Uganda. I also started taking care of some children out here, and they were really eager to help and to see how they could also contribute. So with time, I started connecting people from the UK to various children here for sponsorship for school fees or vocational courses, even university, where possible. Depending on the situation. That charity I then registered, it's called Fund the Future Uganda, and we have more than, it's still small, we have more than 70 youths in institutions of all sorts, and it's ever growing. So on top of that, I still had a lot of time on my hands, and through that sponsorship, I noticed that there is a real need for vocational empowerment. When I was noticing that the youths who go into vocational courses, they could come out and really struggle to get jobs, just the same as the way a lot of people complain that the graduates are struggling to find jobs. Now, particularly to me, it struck me that the girls coming out of courses in such things like hairdressing, beauty, they were struggling to find paid employment at first. Through that charity, I spent a lot of time interacting with these girls who were on vocational courses, and the problem I was finding is that the issue doesn't stop at just paying the school fees. Even once they complete their course, they were struggling to get paid employment. As a lot of employers, they are taking advantage of these fresh minds and the need for employment. They could take them on, and many salons in particular, I was hearing that they charge a fee for work experience. Although these girls are already qualified from their course, they were again charged a fee to work in the salon, which to me was shocking. For us, we even complain when we volunteer somewhere at first for work experience, but again paying on top, it just seemed like another world. So that's what really drove me, because I was seeing these girls, they just go back to their villages or whatever, because to rent and pay for work experience was beyond them. So they wouldn't ever use their skill that they just worked hard to gain. So we were sitting there and thinking, how can we help these girls? And that's when we came up with an idea. Although it's only a small project, we came up with the idea of salon number 49, which is a salon. It runs as a business, but it's a project. So we want to be bringing in more and more girls as the business grows, who we train for a 1-year placement where they learn hair, they learn nails, and then we transition them. But during that 1 year, they are paid. They also have somewhere to stay. They get all their basic needs provided, which really is meant to just help them not to be chased away from Kampala too early. And to ultimately, we are all about giving them economic independence so that they don't depend on the men of Uganda for their future.
Woman.
Lara's passion is to see that every child out there can get a greater education, and they are not stopping on only being in school but also providing skill for whoever each girl is. At least they can have an independent way of having their finances. Welcome to the show, Lara.
Thank you.
To start or kick off is, who is Lara?
Lara is just someone who wants to see that people, especially the youths, are like really going somewhere. I don't like seeing that there's kind of this dead end, or that they give up and depend on another person. And it's really become my passion to encourage these youngsters, especially the women here, to really fight to be alone before being together. They like to be sure that they can manage alone before finding whoever they are settling down with, but to know that they are okay even if they are on their own.
Lara, are you not promoting feminism, like women being better than men? Because
but feminism is not about women being better, it's about women being equal. Like, I think the whole feminist movement, it's never been about women are better than men. It's not that, it's just that women should be equal with men. Not that the man is the one who goes to work, the man has all the power. And it's a very slow movement, but I see that it's getting there. And yeah, it's something that especially Africa is starting to appreciate, I think.
okay, now taking it back, someone watching or the viewer who is tuned into her moment today will want to know where does Lara come from? She is in the move or the campaign or the fight for a financial independence for the girls out there. I mean, what steps has she gone through with school she has been to, how long she has been in the country?
So I'm from the UK originally. When I say that, I say it with a very English accent, and then I slip back. But I've been in Uganda on and off for the last 4 years. Initially, I came for a visit in 2009, so 10 years back. And I attended primary and secondary school as normal. I studied economics at university. And I had to decide whether I'm going like this finance route, or I leant more towards the kind of international development. It's always been my interest since being in Uganda. I think it's been at the back of my head, I want to come back. So then I started working in various charities. I had a job working for a charity called Street Kid International, who were working on vocational programs for youths all over the world. So that was an interesting time. I think again that got me kind of interested in this vocational work and how it's like really important, especially when economies are not ready to take on a massive workforce in kind of accountants or these professions, you need to be able to use your hands and earn a living. So yeah, I think that's when I got interested in that. I was then working for the UK Aid department, but only for 1 year. I was working in their financial institutions department with World Bank and IMF. And there again, it was like very eye-opening, but from a very macro level. And so, but my passion was more about what was going on the ground. You know, like when you see it from the government level, you're looking at a very big picture. But I felt like I could do more by actually trying to start small and help just a few people or encourage a few people. I don't know, they're the ones to decide if it's helping them, but try my best to guide them, to take them from whatever disadvantage they might be at and try to put them at an advantage using the skills that they already possess inside them. Because I believe everyone is skillful. Yeah, it's just about like honing in on those skills. And even in the UK, it's still a problem also. Like people are obsessed with formal education. Sure. They think that that's the only way. That like if you don't have a degree from whichever university, if you don't have all this paperwork, you'll be stuck. And yes, it's like it's a better thing to have papers and what, it's also an advantage, but not everybody is a bookworm. Not everybody needs that. People are so talented in art, in drama, in using their hands, electricians. There are many ways and we need all of them. So I think, yeah, on moving here, I got interested in the youths because I was running a charity which was putting kids in education or educational institutions, and from there I really became more and more passionate about seeing that it doesn't just stop at primary, secondary level. It has to actually have like a continuation like, into the workforce to see that the end goal is achieved rather than just saying I went to such and such school.
And of course, when you're done with your Form 6 or Senior 4, that's not the end of it. Yeah. Because literally, when you look at the job sector in Uganda, they will look at your university, they will look at your GPA, they will look at very many things. Yeah. Now, literally, as our country, Uganda, some things count a lot. Books count a lot. Now, when you come out to fight for this is not a stop, we're having a better thing, or you can get a skill. Professionally, how can I describe you?
Right now, I think maybe it's hard to say. I don't know. I've never needed a title. I guess my background is more in like finance and economics, but now I don't focus on that. I guess what do you call it if you're running organizations? I don't know how to describe my. I don't have a title.
So now wait, okay. Before I describe
yeah,
for
you can come up with a title.
Before I describe for you, what job profession or what what did you do at school?
At school, yeah, I studied typically male subjects. For A level, I did maths, physics, economics.
Like how you go to university,
yeah,
and then they say, okay, I did mass communication, journalism, or international business.
Yeah, I studied economics. It was just straight economics.
No wonder they fight for financial independence.
Yeah. And I think like at the time of going to university, when you're younger, you have all these, you get swept up in these things. And I remember before, because I came to Uganda for the first time between my S6 and going to university. And at that time, I remember before coming and before opening my eyes a lot, I used to always be like, yeah, maybe I'll be a banker. You get swept into that thing. I want to earn money, and I was studying the right things, and I was like, yeah, I'll be a banker, I'll do this and this and this. But my heart was not in that. Like, I even worked in an investment bank, but I left it and moved to work in charity even though I moved from like quite okay job in an investment bank to volunteering in a charity.
Should I say, because most of the people out there, they say charity is at heart. Like you find someone with lots and lots of money but they can't do charity. You find someone with less money but they want to do charity. You find someone with money or they have better and bigger alternatives but they want to change lives.
Yeah, I think for me, like, none of us know why we're here.
Yeah.
And I was just saying this the other day, like, I think the only way that I can get motivated, because I'm not very, okay, I'm driven, but when I know that the outcome is going to help someone. But like, some people are very ambitious in their own careers and things for their own benefit. And that thing doesn't drive me. Like, my ambition, I would say I'm ambitious, but my ambition comes from helping others. Like, if I know I can work from morning up to night, if I know it's going to benefit someone. But when I'm sitting at a desk in an investment bank and I know that the end product is so pointless,
it's just money on my account.
It's money and paper and trades. I was working in commodities trading and I was just like, what even is all this? Like, all this money, it's just not even being used in the way that I think is like what we need.
Because some people could be out there watching and they cannot imagine working in the UKA with these big organizations and they're like, whoa, I wish I knew that is what I would want to do, or that is the only best thing. But okay, this drives us back to most of the people when they look at the way it's come in the country, most especially when they come to give us aid or to support certain projects, something like that. They have this other African feeling like, okay, now this is the time. You're gonna help them. You're gonna help us go to school. You're gonna help us, give us maybe basic needs, provide us with the sanitary pads, clothes. So that's what we literally think. But we look at you at a different point of view, that you come with the heart of giving, like you are lavish givers.
Yeah, that's definitely a perception which like you can feel even when you're here all the time. Like, people just, like, much as I think of myself as a fairly generous person, still, like, if people greet you in the street and just immediately say give me money, you just like they just assume that every Mzungu is rich, they all. Anyway, I always try to kind of scratch away such generalizations and things. But the truth is, a lot of Mzungus here in Uganda are doing aid work. It's true.
Yeah.
But I think now it's very important personally, I believe that it's important to shift away from this like encouraging of dependency on aid. Like, having worked for the UK aid, that's like a very big aid giver. But it was very apparent that countries that become over-dependent on aid, they really suffer in the end. And I think that's on a large scale and a small scale. So like, even with the charity I was saying that I run for school fees, I don't want to encourage this tendency that parents, the real parents, do nothing to be involved. Like, they have to be involved in their child's education.
Yeah.
We don't just pay for everything outright and buy them their pants, their everything. But at first, it's taken a bit of like development for myself and to see what works best. But what you will see is when you give something completely for free or completely just with no strings. Okay, not that I like strings to be attached, but like, if you just give someone like school fees for their kid, they lose the value of that school. Like, there's not everybody, but some people can lose the value of those school fees. It no longer means what it meant to them when they were the ones paying.
Yeah.
They really made sure their child was there. They made sure they were on time when they knew that that's their money. But when they know it's someone else's money, they can sometimes relax. They're like this. And I think that's like, this participatory approach is really important. Like, it's yes, you can help someone, but they then need to help themselves. And that's where this thing of skills development to me is like a really crucial thing, because I don't want to just employ someone for a year and yes, they might earn some money during that year. But that's not what we see the girls are getting from their time here in the salon. Like, we want them to be able to take the skills and it's beyond the year that they're actually getting their benefits from the skills, not during the year. During the year, we pay them what they need to like be okay in that year and to be fair. But it's not like, it's not going to, that's not the end of their life. As you say, like, it's the beginning, this stage of like early finishing school and the first few years of employment. It's so like early in your life. And if you don't have skills to go forward with, you're never going to earn your future, basically. So I think that's like...
Yeah, exactly. That's really true. It really drives me, because before even I was to ask you, you just hinted on that, because I was going to actually, you give us a brief of why this project, why Salon 49.
Yeah. So I think like, yeah, it's that whole concept. You know the old proverb of like, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, they eat for a lifetime. So like, for us, I set this place up with a French lady who is a hairdresser. And because my background is not in hairdressing, it's not in beauty. So even my friends find it very funny that I run this thing. But yeah, as you're saying, I think it needs both. It needs like the heart and the management side as well as the technical training. So Natasha was here for a year training the girls to cut our hair. But we set up this project because I was noticing the need for paid employment as while you are still learning, but you should be paid. You're still working. That's our view, is that if you're going to work for a business or wherever, yes, you might still be learning, but as long as you've come with something, girls who have completed their vocational courses were trying to face the job market where they are forced to get, no one wants to employ them straight out. They say they need work experience, but in order to get work experience, they have to pay for the work experience. Now, who can afford to pay for work experience? You're not getting paid. Again, you are paying. Again, living in Kampala, you've come from the village, for example. You now need to, unless you can find a brother or sister or someone to stay with, but you still need to buy food and maybe pay rent. And I was seeing when it's just unfeasible for so many girls, and they go back to the village. And yes, they had their basic skill, but they never took it further. And I felt like that was a shame. Like, often they go back, they get married, and that's the end. They are now dependent on that husband, and they're in a tricky situation. Not everyone, but some situations are hard. So for us, it was all about transitioning the girls. We were like, they need, and although it's just one salon, but hopefully we have dreams of growing bigger. But at first, like, we were like, if we start at least one place where we offer them, they finish their course, they come to they might get a job here, but we still interview them. It's like getting a job, because like what I was saying, again, it's like not a handout. They have to want it, because those are the girls who are going to gain the most from the experience. So then they have a year here where we bring in external trainers, even we do internal training, and we actually give them work experience, not just calling it work experience because it's your first employment. Yeah. So where possible, we try to train them, but also like they get used to working. I've also been doing soft skills training with them, because to me it's like very important. Customer service is almost just as important as the technical work you're doing, and it's transferable anywhere you're going. So in the salon we work on Zungu hair, which is always very exciting for the girls because it's not what they've learned, and it's very hard. And although their main focus in the training is now not on that, because we have our initial team who are going to stay on, and they're mainly the ones working on the Zungu hair, because we realize the training period from Zungu hair is much longer than 1 year. And yet the most transferable skills for these girls is to learn African hair more, also nails, because that's how they they are going to find jobs in other salons because there are not so many Mzungu salons. Like, so yeah, but still it's always good to have an awareness. And I think like something I've noticed that's great for the girls here is that they meet people from all over the world. It like, I think even that, I'm hoping, is like an inspiration for them, because like you have things to aim for. Yeah, like your mind is open to what's out there. Like you want just like a small salon, they are seeing people they hear about. I always chat to our customers, so they hear maybe the project they're working on, or the business they are doing, or the I don't know, we have people from all connections. Yeah, they can get connections, and a lot of our customers are very interested in the project. And while we want to offer a high standard of service anyway, we don't want them coming here just as a pity thing. Like, we want them to come because they know they'll get a good service, but at the same time it's like a win-win, because they know that their money is going directly into the project. Like, I don't take any money. It's only what goes to pay the girls and pay our rent.
So how long has this project been? How long has it run?
We only opened in August 2017, so it's like a year and a half.
Alright, now let's go for a short break, but when we turn back, Lara is still in the building. As I said, we are in Kamoja, live at saloon number 49. Let's take a break and we'll be right back.